Life is sweet. Let it sweep you off your feet.
Hi, this is Allie, and welcome to Find Your Joy. I'm really excited because today we have part 2 with the fabulous, wonderful, ever-giving, always awesome, joyful is basically, I hope your middle name is Joy because it would make a lot of sense. Margaret Mulcair Mackenzie. Welcome back, Margaret.
Thank you. My middle name is actually Éveillé, which means the awakening in French.
Oh, oh, that's very prophetic, isn't it? Oh, I love that. That's gorgeous. Oh my goodness. Éveillé. That's beautiful. Okay, well, if at 64 I go and start having babies again, I will make sure that and I had a girl, she's going to be Éveillé. I love it. The awakening. I hope I write that down somewhere. I think I'll write that down right now. So Margaret is so many things. When earlier I was describing you as a diving board that people are catapulted into really what they're called to do. I think you have that way about you. You have that way of inviting people into that. And you're so many things. I'm guessing that you are, you were first a daughter and a sister, and maybe then a wife and a mother, and definitely a fur baby mom. I've seen that. You have been a military family member for almost, well, same time, almost the same as me, about 35 years, a community builder, a cheerleader, a person who looks for joys and ways to bring people together. And I would say that you are a person who some people have. Now, I'm processing this as I'm thinking it here right now. You have a way that you see something in people that is all that they could be, and you call that out of them. That's a beautiful gift to possess. And some people who are, maybe on the, however one wants to put it, intuitive, revelatory, prophetic, whatever. Some people who see things in other people, it can be easy to see things that may be on the downside of that. But you choose over and over again to see not just the beauty in people, but all that is possible in them. And you fan those flames. I have been the recipient of such a beautiful gift from you, and I'm going to guess that there are many others that do. So I just wanted to say thank you for that, because that is very much who you are. You flame fanner. I have to be careful. Something comes out sideways. So when we were talking last time, we were talking a little bit about choosing joy and about your life as a military family member, and like you had said, there's I forget exactly how you said it, but there's several opportunities for us to become depressed or fearful or anxious. 14 postings, 34 years, but you chose to build community where you went. You talked a little bit last time about being in Trenton, but I know that you were in Germany, and maybe tell us a little bit about some of the postings and ways that you built community, and my gosh, you give back.
Thank you so much, Ellie. You're so kind. So yes, we've been in Kingston, Winnipeg, Colorado Springs, Germany twice, Winnipeg twice, Trenton, Greenwood, and I grew up in Montreal. So yeah, so those are the postings that we were at. Let me see. We talked about the street. Oh, I know what I could share with you. So in Germany, the struggle with living in Germany is that we don't speak the language, of course. So that's very challenging. And when somebody gets a posting to Germany, they're all excited and thinking, oh, Europe, it's going to be grand. But if you're in a small town in Germany or in Poland, or where people don't speak the language, it's very challenging. And you have to really reach outside of your comfort zone to build community. And so when I was in Germany, I worked for a food bank. And I was the only person there who did not speak German. So nobody spoke English to me. And so we had to use the language of smiling. I think that was the biggest language to use, which, by the way, I don't know if you know this, but you can actually hear a smile. So if you were to close your eyes, you could tell when I'm speaking, whether I'm smiling or whether I'm frowning. You can hear it. You can hear it in the voice. There's a certain lilt that comes with it. So when I was teaching interactive online programming, I used to say that was one of the best practices. You can hear your smile. So make sure you do that.
It's wonderful. I could, I closed my eyes and I could tell when you were smiling about that.
It makes the world a difference. And if you're dealing with somebody online for, you've been on hold for an hour and a half for an organization that you have to figure something out with, if you start the line with a smile, they're going to work so much harder for you because they're going to feel finally somebody's not angry with me.
Yes.
Like, it's an easy thing. It's hard to do sometimes, but it's an easier thing to do. And once you've set that tone, it's very hard for him to be upset with you or you to be upset with him because that's the tone you started with.
That's lovely. Another one of the Margaretisms that is so helpful and so true.
When you're online for an hour and a half, remember to smile when they come on.
Well, because imagine what it's like you're saying, imagine every single person, the first thing that they say to them is not even what they want done. It's likely going to be a complaint about how long they waited. And
yes,
what a day that's going to be for that.
And if you could bring it to yourself, so hard to do. I understand. Not everybody can do it, not all the time. But if you've been wronged by a company and you can bring it by yourself after an hour and a half of waiting, to take a deep breath and just say, how is your day going today? And with a smile, and they're going to switch for you. They're going to work as hard as they can for you just because you see them. You see them over the phone that that they've been struggling. So you can hear a smile. That's my other thought. But I digress. Yes, so we've had a lot of different postings. We were on IR, which means something restricted posting, I think it is. I don't know all the acronyms. But that means that my husband was in Ottawa and we were in Greenwood for a year.
Oh, yes. Right.
Which is really challenging. The kids were young. And I could not have done anything without the community that was built there. They were so supportive, and we'd go for meals, and that we'd have play dates, and we'd go to the pool, and just have a wonderful time. But without that community support, a posting like that where we're separate is extremely, extremely difficult. Yeah. So it's all about building that connection, right?
It is. Connection is so important. When you're saying that, I'm thinking there's a thing that happens, and I know it's not only military families, but there's this thing that happens that I find in relationships where when for many years Dave was gone 6 to 9 months of every year. It was just always gone. And there's a way we learn to communicate. And I like that. That's the one thing that I think is really lovely about military families is we have the opportunity to long for each other.
Yes.
And not everyone has that opportunity. And I don't, now, decades into it, I don't need to long so much. Okay. We're better together. But when you're talking about that, there's that thing that happens, I think, in military families where that's something that I noticed, when my friends who love their husbands dearly, but would be like, oh my gosh, I wish I could just have, a weekend without it, or they would say something like that. And I think then you should, because there is something that happens when you get to long for someone that you miss them. You miss the part that the puzzle that puzzle piece puzzle piece that they give to your family, that they bring to you, that they do all of that. So absolutely, the community part is so wonderful. I just want to mention to people, you already know because you live it, but there is something really lovely about being apart.
Yes.
If that makes sense.
It builds your confidence. It shows that your
Yes.
strength. It shows you can do it.
Yes.
You know,
Yes.
it shows that you're independent, you're strong. You still need your person, of course, but it does give you a sense of accomplishment, right? And a joy is part of accomplishing things, right? Oh,
It
how great
is.
do you feel when you've finished doing a big job that you were like putting off for weeks, right?
Exactly, right? And I always say when David's going when he would be going on a long, like months and months and months. There's different ones. There's a month is like, man, no, that it's almost nothing, right? It's like, or so, it sounds awful to say that, but it's like, but when someone's going for 3 to 6 months, 9 months, like, and beyond, right? I always say, okay, no one can talk to me the first day. I'm gonna be that'll be my day of crying. Let's just get that out there. And then the first week, it'll be a little bit iffy. Then I'll get my feet back, right?
Yeah.
And then now I'm going, and I've got a plan, and everything's gonna be fine.
And then coming back, they still have struggles coming back because, oh my gosh, he's coming back. I've been doing everything by myself. How do I bring him back in or her back into the
Yes,
routine?
yes, there's a lot of that.
Have you seen the movie? I can't remember the name of it. I'm so sorry, but it's about emotions. And it talks about joy is a cartoon, and anger is a cartoon, and sadness is a cartoon. I can't remember what it's called. But what the thing that really struck home, we watched it as a family, and deployment was huge thought in there. The thing that really struck home for me was that you cannot have joy without sadness.
Right, right.
So when you're speaking about the day of crying when he leaves, you have to allow your body to feel the emotions. You have to allow it. And I grew up in a family that said, nope, you got to be happy all the time. But that doesn't work, because as human beings, we have to feel the sadness with the joy.
Yes, yes, absolutely. I yes. And when you have a talk show, or a podcast called Find Your Joy, um, it's not about being happy clappy all the time, right? It's
Right.
about, like you're saying too, the choice, right? I have a choice, and sometimes I take it to
Yeah.
go all the way down into a pity
Right.
party, or feeling devastated, or just in a very dark
Yeah.
spot for a while. And then that breath, when I come back, it's like, oh, right. But
So,
those feelings were real.
and if we never had that depression, that sadness, that anxiety, we wouldn't even know what joy looked like.
Yeah, I think that's
The
right.
piece
I
of
think
it.
that there's a way. It's like finding your way through. I was almost say Finding Nemo. Very, and I'm almost like Nemo sometimes. I have a little goal, and I'm just going on my way there. No, I'm more like Dory, actually, but
But I digress. Squirrel.
yeah, that's right. But anyway, but yes, it is like that. It's choosing life. It's choosing that, yes, there's going to be really hard things that happen, like when we go to another country. It's so funny. I become very aware if I go to a country and English is not only not their first language, but not even a language that is used very much. You very quickly become much more compassionate to people who have immigrated to this country and don't speak
Yes.
English. Before, when I was younger, I'm sure I probably did an eye roll and thought, why don't you just learn to speak English? And I'm telling you, you go to another country, and it's like, of course they don't speak English. That's not the language of this country. But now what am I going to do?
I remember when I was working in Europe, it was about 5 years before COVID, so there was no electronic, interactive programming. But that was my job. My job was interactive programming, and so I said, okay, let's try doing a. We had 400 families living in 16 countries, so I said, let's try doing a book club, online book club. This was before online book clubs were big. So it was an opportunity to bring people from the different countries who are ones and twos together. Well, not only was this a successful book club where we laughed and carried on and maybe had some frosty beverages, but there was a woman there who lived in a place with only one person. So she was the it. It was a new language. She didn't speak the language. She had children. They weren't, so she wasn't supported in any way. And at that time, there was no online programming. We were the first. And she said, I can't believe it. You're the first time that I've had a chance to speak English in the last year and a half since I've been here.
Oh, man.
And then she started sharing how she started stuttering and she started losing her hair because she was so stressed. And with that little book club, that online book club that we had way before COVID, she was able to get social work help.
Oh my God.
And with that, you think, oh, it's just a book club, it's just a knitting club, it's just a this, but it's about building community. And because we were able to build community from remotely, this person was able to get help. And
that's beautiful. And I love that you just said that. When someone's thinking, oh, it's just a book club, or it's just, we need to kind of almost take the word just out of the English language.
Thank you.
Because what does this even mean? I just went there and brought her muffins.
That's right.
For a person who was just possibly posted somewhere and is, maybe the first time they've been away from their family, like there's a list of things that happens. My gosh. And even I'm thinking, even for a person who has any anxiety or stuff, it might even be hard when a person comes towards you and offers kindness or a friendship, because it might, if you already have your own list of I'm afraid ofs, that can be challenging, right? But it helps us to move past that. Yes, yeah. I'm afraid, and not but is another one we could get rid of.
But is bad.
But is bad. I try really, if when I hear myself say but, whoa.
We used to teach the kids a song. It went, but is bad, do, but is bad. So there's no I love you, but it's I love you, and.
I love you, and. Or this is, I see what you're talking about, and, not but.
Right.
Because but has a way of disregarding everything that was said before it. Yes. It just is that, right? It's like an apology that has a but in it. I'm really sorry I hurt your feelings, but
oh no,
but you did, and now it's just turned into this whole other thing about I wasn't really apologizing at all. I was just looking for the segue to tell you all the crappy stuff you had done.
So, Ellie, I'm laughing because I thought I was the only one that thought that. I'm so thrilled you brought that up, because yes, it's so true.
It is, and so we'll get just and but out of the English language.
Okay, done.
Oh, just wait a second. I have my little wand, and yeah, it's important, right? It's important that we learn. Linguistics are important. Words matter.
Every word matters.
Every word matters. Oh, my dear friend Glenn, I'm giving you a shout out right now, because really he's been one of my closest friends for I don't know, about 25 years, really. And he was really into NLP and all neuro-linguistic programming and just all of these things, and linguistics, and so much way before I would say he probably introduced me to it. And he would tell me, every word matters. Every word. And I'd be like, but I say so many. If I have to slow down and think about everyone, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? But it helped me, right? It
really does. Every word matters.
Every word matters, and it really does. And they hold power, and they have an energy that travels through.
If you ever went to school and had to write an essay, if you wrote too many words and had to cut it back, it's very hard.
It's very hard. Oh my gosh. Well, I don't know if I told you this. I've got children's books coming out, right? So they're just, my niece is working on, I know I'm excited, but why the words matter. Here's this thing. So I started out writing, I think there were 3,000 words. No, maybe it was 2,000 words each book was. And then I took a course on writing kids' books. And for the age group, we're looking at 4 to 7 because you need to pick a age group and all that. And they said 1,000 words was maximum. So then I needed to take the concept of what was in the 2,000 words and put it into 1,000. Oh, it gets better. Then I took another course and read some more information. And then it was like, no, if you're going 4 to 7, you would do best if you can hold the story and make it true. Make it still hold the meaning, do it rhyming, and do it in 400 words, especially if it's a picture book. So then I needed to take this story that was over 2,000 words, make it in 400 words, and rhyme it so that kids would remember it. True story.
No pressure. I'm going to share a story of how less is more. A friend of mine who I love and adore, and he was in an online presentation, and there were 30 people on this presentation, and the facilitator thought it would be a great idea to introduce each person. So every person stood up and said, hello, my name is this, I do this, this is my awards, I've got this, and they go along. And so it was pretty difficult to listen to. And by the 27th person, my friend Paul stood up. And my friend Paul has a wonderful sense of humor. And he stood up and he looked around the room and the presentation online. He said, Paul, cyber. And then he sat down. That's all he said. But do you know what? For the next week during the conference, people come up to him and said, you're Paul, cyber, I want to learn more. 2 words versus a whole lot of, this is me, this is me, this is what I've done. So.
Because there's intention, the intention, that's what I think catches because by 27, my goodness, people, if anyone didn't know within the first 5 or 10 people, by 27 people, they knew, oh, this was a bad idea.
So you could be Allie, Joy. There you go.
Exactly. Oh my God.
Allie, Joy.
That's right. Oh, I love it.
Less is more.
I want to know Paul Cyber now. I'll go look him up. I'll go to LinkedIn right away and find out about this guy. It carries on. It carries on. No just, no but.
Less is more. That's right.
Oh my. Oh. So you're in Germany and you don't speak German. How long were you in Germany? Like you were in a few times. You were in Germany, right?
Twice, yes. So we were there 3 years and 5 years.
Do you speak German now?
I can order a beer beautifully.
Well, as long as you've got the really important things down, I think that's all that really matters. I can say Oktoberfest.
No, but it was really funny. Do you have time for another story?
I only have time for you. That's all I have is time and more time for you.
So I rode in the Wounded Warriors Battlefield bike ride in 2000 something.
Oh,
and we rode alongside veterans who were through Croatia and Serbia. So like I got off the plane and we were going for our passports, and somebody said, well, the last time I was here, I was being shot at that airport. And I spent a week with these incredible human beings. And so we had to raise funds for this great cause, which we did. And then afterwards, I invited the community for a big party. So we had the food, we had everything for them, and they came to this party. So we had this wonderful party, and all of a sudden we get a knock on the door. And we get a knock on the door, and I go see who's there, and I'm not sure who it is. But he says he's, in his best English, he's looking for a place to stay. And we lived next to our neighbors who had a ferienwoning, which was a holiday home.
Oh, okay.
So I went there. I said, do you have a room? And they said, no room. And they said, all the hotels are booked. There's no way he's going to get a hotel. So I said, all the hotel rooms are booked. There's no way you're going to get a hotel. Come on in, spend the night here.
Oh, of course you did. I'm not surprised.
So his wife said, is she safe? And then she said, can you show me the room? I said, sure, come on up. So I showed her the guest bedroom. It was all made up, ready to go. They came down. So they said, okay, we'll stay here. They had no choice. They had a beautiful dinner with us. They sat down and had dinner. And then when everybody left, we stayed by the fire and had, talked about their lives. And in the morning, I went to the bakery and got a beautiful breakfast for them. Like it was a beautiful B&B. It turned out this person is a car rally world champion. And he was just coming back from some of his races that he's done. And he joined us. And because it was a celebration for the Wounded Warriors, I had all kinds of Canadian flags and Canada and Wounded Warriors promotion. He said, are you from Canada? We said, yes. He said, only in Canada would somebody invite a stranger into their home. So I don't know how we got onto that story, but I had to share.
Oh, I love that story. Well, because what I love is that's who you are. That's who you are, and wouldn't it be wonderful if we could move towards that? That's how we are as a people. Like, I understand we have to be safe. The wife said, are they safe? I get it. Like there's that reality for sure. And what a beautiful, beautiful experience for them and for you. I love that.
So, shining Canadians light.
Yes. Well, that's when you took your 7-second soundbite and put it into a 24-hour soundbite.
That's right, because we never saw them again. It was, and they were just so wowed. It was just part of it's what human beings need. We need more joy. We need more listening. We need to put down our phones and just pay attention to who's around us and what people need.
Oh, I love that. It's you, my friend, are a beautiful shining beacon of joy and kindness and love and all things that inspire me.
Thank you for bringing it out in me.
I don't think if I had a great big lid and a what is it called, a drill with bolts and stuff, that I could keep it down. You would shine out the sides. Oh, well, I think we'll wrap up. And is there anything that we didn't talk about, or that you didn't get a chance to share, that is in your heart, a burning desire that you would love to share?
I'm just so thankful. I'm thankful that I met you so many years ago, and I'm thankful that I've seen your talent, and I just thank you for this opportunity to share, because as human beings, we need more positivity.
Yeah, we sure do, don't we? Hug.
Hug.
Well, you have just been treated to the beauty and wonder that is Margaret Mulcair Mackenzie. And thank you so much for tuning in and spending some time with us. There's a whole bunch of things that you could have all been doing today, and you chose to listen to us for a while as we babble away and talk about love and joy and all that kind of stuff. This is Allie. Thank you so much for being with us today. Thank you, Margaret. And please do find your joy and remember that you are loved. Thanks so much for joining me today. If you found a piece of your joy in this episode, I would love to hear about what came up for you so that we can continue to grow the impact of this show. Thanks again. See you soon. And remember, find your joy.